Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this bonus episode of Another Pod, Do Not Relent. I'm the only one that says the full Christian name. I'm going to have to start calling the boys out for that. And as you can hear, I am not alone today, or I guess also as you can read because it'll be in the title. But I am joined by Michigan State University's own and Blizzard's own. Once again, not a spoiler, that'll be in the intro to the thing. Peter Burroughs. How are you doing tonight, friend? Peter?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, Peter, I know that you are ever so important. Dare I say, Ian told me the other day, one of the most important Blizzard employees. But tell the audience,
too good.
What is your official position?
My official position at Blizzard is associate prop artist on World of Warcraft. So I make props.
And I will be fully transparent with everyone. Peter and I did record this interview a week prior, but due to my own technical wizardry, I managed to completely destroy it. So if it feels like we're rushing it all, both of us have already said these words, but you know what? It was such a great experience. I just said, hey, let's do it again.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Happens all the time. And, I do like talking about games and things. So I'm more than happy to go back over this stuff.
Of course. And of course, I just got to say this once again, right off the bat. You are legally, you are bound to laugh at my jokes again. I don't care if they're the same jokes. I need a hearty chuckle or else the fans are going to turn on me.
All right.
So, like last time, we'll start it out with the important stuff. What is your faction, race, class combo?
Yes. Also, I'll put the disclaimer out here first, too. My thoughts and opinions are my own. Do not represent anything to do with Blizzard and ABK's opinions, and they don't represent me. So, in any case, my Hoarder Alliance and race class combo. Well, I'll say that I have, multiple different characters for either faction, but at the moment, I'd have to say Horde. Even though
you know what, you did tell me that last week, and so I had time to properly get ready this week, but it still hurt.
I'll say most of the props team is actually Alliance. Funny enough, but I think that really depends on the team. Sometimes we've got little Horde pockets, little Alliance groups throughout. So
I did wonder about that because we know certain members of leadership, or at least like the big names that we always spout on the show, are distinctly Horde. So we're always like, oh, they're going for their own people. But do you feel like, so you said in the props team it's more Alliance based?
Yeah, they're largely Alliance. There's probably only a handful of us who are Horde people.
Do you feel like it's because the Alliance has more like props and stuff, where the Horde's like, well, this is my stick. I use it to stir this mud puddle around.
See, you would think so, but it's actually I don't think there's necessarily an imbalance one way or another. And that's you would think there would be some favoritism, but I don't really see that as much in the art teams. But with the race and class combo right now, I am a Blood Elf subtlety rogue.
I see. Do you typically play with war mode on?
With what?
With war mode, like the PvP mode?
Oh no. Mostly it's just me running around because so especially as an artist, I'm stopping all over the place to look at the scenery. Not very conducive to to coming across other people trying to kill me. So I like taking my time,
I mostly just ask because if you were a Blood Elf subtlety rogue with war mode on, chances are you probably stabbed me and I cursed you out without knowing it was you. But I'm glad that we have not met on the field of battle.
No. Nope. I just run around and mostly do some solo play with hopping in when friends are doing stuff. But
Nice. So that's what you're doing now as a grown man. I want to turn back the clock. What was your history with Blizzard Entertainment games in general?
yeah, well, so funny enough, I didn't actually play much World of Warcraft when I was younger. That was mostly a money and time barrier, but I was always doing something else, whether it was school sports or checking out other games. I
Oh
played a fair amount of
no, you
Flash
were
games.
doing sports? I didn't know I was in here with a sports man. We were in the nerd
Just swimming.
zone.
We're all nerds here. Uh, yeah, I think a variety of life experiences is always fantastic. But yeah, I played
Mhm.
some. There was this game like Adventure Quest Worlds, Dragon Fable, RuneScape. Like, there's I think that was a lot of what I was doing at the time, and then I was always getting this secondhand knowledge from friends who are really into World of Warcraft, and they made it sound super exciting. So um, especially with like Wrath of the Lich King stuff, and um, I think that's when my friends really started getting into it. So anything that I learned was either from them or like from forums and wikis, or various cutscenes and commercials and stuff. So it always World of Warcraft always had this sort of mystique for me that like it was the thing the cool kids do, and I wish I could have gotten into it. So now I think going through college and as I was studying game development and stuff, I had my eyes set on Blizzard as this company that makes a variety of games, from World of Warcraft to Overwatch, and I really am big on that hand painted art style. So that seemed like a natural fit.
Now, this is a question we had not discussed before, but I just got to know. Growing up, did you watch much G4, specifically Cheat?
No, I don't think so. But
Uh, they
then
they
again, if
they
I don't, I might not remember the name. So
they had an episode of Cheat that was all about like secrets in the World of Warcraft, and that was the moment for me. My brother and I watched that, and we were like, "Oh my goodness, this is the coolest!" And then we went to our parents, and they were like, "Boy, I remember very
it's
infamously
expensive.
they said this game costs money. You can either do this or, and this is going to age me, you can either do this or continue your Napster subscription." And we were like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah.
no, we gotta keep the
Oh.
Napster." So that's why we never did it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
But
mean there were sacrifices. That's yeah, but I think it goes to show too, like not everyone, they're not just looking for hardcore players when they grab people for the team and stuff. They're looking for people who are good at a certain craft and can bring in a variety of experiences. So
heck yeah. Well, talking about variety of experiences, you've had quite a lead up of your own. So you were a finalist, and my thing says finalist. You won
yes,
the Blizzard Student Art Competition, correct?
yeah, for my category, that's pretty bonkers.
Yeah, yeah, that's legit. I want you to tell the audience about it, and me a second time because I'm still spellbound by it.
Yeah, it still doesn't really feel real in the sense that the student art contest was something that other people, the big kids were always doing, like way back in 2011. I think I had a college grad, Marie Lazar, come to me, and she was talking about her experience with winning the environment side of stuff as well, and that really inspired me. But I never thought that would be my art on the promotional banners and everything. And now here we are. So I guess I was taking some classes here. It's been a bit since I was in MSU, but I've been working through CGMA, the CG Master Academy, and I saw the student art contest was coming up, and at the same time, we had the Shadowlands expansion that was going to drop, and this was what uh, last year. So I was looking at that and all the trailers we had for that, and it's so exciting to see that kind of thing, and I thought, maybe I could give it another shot. And I ended up spending, I think it was 3 or 4 months working on an entry for it. And it wasn't until it was due at the end of January 2020. So 1 week before it was due, I just like my computer crashed. I lost my entire scene and everything. It was like this Revendreth vampire tower on a cliff, and the whole scene was gone. But I still had the pieces, and I just took a deep breath and thought, okay, we're gonna redo this whole thing, and maybe maybe it'll be worth it. I'd hate to see all that time go down the drain. So I crunched a little bit on it and then got it out there, and I was pretty sure that someone else would get it, so I kind of forgot about it for a few weeks, and then one of these days I just got a call from someone who introduced themselves as hi, this is Michelle from Blizzard, and I remember choking on my peanut butter sandwich because I was like, oh wait, come again? Can you repeat that? What is what's happening here? And they played it up like oh, they're looking at all the art entries and they really liked yours, and then we just wanted to let you know that you got it. So they were certainly hyping that up over the course of that short call. But from then, like everything kind of changed. Now I was offered an internship, and then I spent the summer on the internship, and they liked what I did, so they brought me onto the team.
Nice. And you know how it goes. I'm going to ask, give me some spicy deets. Well, also, I should say before we go on to the next thing, I will obviously be including the illustration that Peter did in the description of this episode here. Beautiful, moody, atmospheric. Kids online would say it's, dare I say, aesthetic or art pop. And gotta say, he did the Venthyr, which, Immune and I, my co-host, we just love.
Yeah, thank you. I was this close to doing a piece from Bastion or something, and I was the process for deciding that was literally looking at the three factions, like which one of these is really speaking to me, and I feel like Bastion was my eyes were drawn to there initially, but then there was so much happening with I was watching Castlevania, the Netflix series at the time, and then going through a D&D Curse of Strahd campaign, so vampires and stuff were on the mind, and I ended up seeing there was a really cool quest. I think it was the Fear Stalker or something in Revendreth. They've got like that forested area where they release these lost souls to and the Venthyr hunt them down for sport. And I was like, oh, that reminds me of like this one literature book that I'd read in the past, and maybe I can incorporate that into some sort of mini narrative, even if it's it's not like written into the piece, but keeping that in mind and trying to imagine a scene around that was what inspired that.
Nice. You see, we're getting, that's something I did not know from last week. We're getting these hashtag nuggets of new lore. So you already sort of briefly touched upon it, so I'll twist the question here. So you were a part of the intern program before becoming an official prop artist. How was that? And B, how is that working remotely? Because you did that during the heights of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I was the second group of interns who had gone through this remote experience. So it was remote. They let us operate from home. They make sure you've got all the equipment you need to tune in to work, and you basically did everything that an artist on the team would do, just as an intern with some additional activities. Like they do a really good job of making sure you have people mentors who are helping you along the way, and their end goal for those internships is to find people who will eventually join the team and become full-time members. But normally, as an intern, you have to be a returning student going back to college in the fall. But for this situation, for the student contest winners, they sort of make an exception as they notice, okay, you are students, but you may or may not be returning to school in the fall, and we might be able to get you immediately. So um, that was a slightly different experience than some of the other underclassmen. But I had a really good time with the internship. It's certainly a learning experience with the various processes and things we did, but they they taught me a lot. And I found that this is a group of people that I could work with on a daily basis, and um, the team itself is just they're so knowledgeable, and they care about us as people too, beyond even being artists. The members of my team are always making sure, like, hey, is this too stressful? Do you got everything you need? Do you have any questions? Can we help you out in any way? And we would, even hanging out outside of work in digital spaces, these are my people now. So
Nice, nice. So then, obviously, spoiled by the intro and the name of this episode, you did end up getting a prop artist position with Blizzard Entertainment.
I did.
For those who may not know, even though it is one of the more literal job description names, what does a prop artist do in the World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I mean it's a good clarification to make, because there's a number of environment artists, people who work on anything that's not a character or a creature, but um, there are some that work on more the true environment artists, I guess, work on like plants and trees and organic things. There's the dungeon team who works on more architecture based stuff, and the props team, and we make pretty much everything else. So like the interior design, you've got barrels and tables and weapons racks and sometimes weapons, and just anything the player might see or interact with.
Nice. And for that, this is a new question. I don't know if it's risque or whatever, but are you able to have a little bit of flexibility as far as like telling a story with some of the aesthetics of the item? Is there a loose code you go with, a loose note?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's one of their core tenets in World of Warcraft. Like if you look around, everything has some thought and artistic creativity put into it, and whether or not you as a player know that there's a story, the artists are thinking of something in mind. Whenever we make something, we think of, oh, what is this material made out of, or what is this prop made out of, like what kind of material, what construction methods does this fit the race that made it, the culture that made it. And the storytelling, the environmental storytelling that we do with props tends to be things like, and then maybe, I don't know, this table over here, there's a guy who stumbles into it, and they maybe he had gotten into a bar fight, and there was an axe that chopped a little chip out of the corner at some point in time. I don't know. Like, those are things that most people will never know about that specific piece, but they're kind of things that we imagine as we're making stuff. So in that sense, it can make the world feel a little bit more lived in, a little bit more real. And it is World of Warcraft, so everything looks like it could be used as a weapon. Both the axe and the weapons rack look like you could pick it up and whack someone with
Anything could be used to commit war in this world.
But yeah, it's a very stylized game. So that's but even with that, there's a lot of thought that we put into those things.
It was revealed last time, so I won't ask, oh, what's the working situation? How is it working remotely with the rest of the team that are in Irvine right now? Like, what's sort of a day in the life like?
Well, I'll say that, like, normally we have, instead of going into meetings in large rooms with the various teams, we're tuning into calls and communicating a lot via everything. So we're just there's just a lot more communication that's involved with working remotely, but I've been pleasantly surprised with how well it works. I think a lot of the times, even though we say it's always best to be in person, in my opinion, for creative things, there's still we can still do our work remotely, and we've tried to make up for the human element by hanging out, jumping in calls, having virtual lunch together at least, and um, I'd say it's at least as productive, and from what I've seen.
Very, very cool. Well, now we're gonna loop back. We're gonna get back into the game here. I won't try and get you in trouble like I did last time. So, as both a player, even in a casual sense, and obviously someone who is working on the product, what is a feature that you find really cool about World of Warcraft?
Yeah. Let me see. So, as someone who's fairly new to World of Warcraft, as in just largely checking out the art and things, I'm someone who really appreciates the atmosphere of everything, the sheer scale of this world. Like sometimes, various games, depending on their perspective, even though it might be set in an epic world, it doesn't always feel as much as World of Warcraft, because I'm running around and you can see all these mountains and buildings that are like 100 times larger than you, and it I love that vibe to it, and the fact that it is stylized. The game's been around a long time now, and I think it still holds up in many ways because of that art style. So of
Mm-hmm.
course, there's always some areas that you look at and say, okay, that was made 15 years ago. But
I was just thinking in my head, I was like, as a prop artist, does it ever make you sad to like go buy a
yes,
weapons rack in Hellfire Peninsula and be like, wow, that is made of 3 vertices?
yes, but at the same time, it's kind of neat because it's a piece of history, and I think there's WoW has a lot of things in it for a lot of players. So between classic and retail and uh, every new expansion that's pushed, there's always something cool to explore. But they also try to honor the past all the time. So I think that is something I really appreciate. And then also just walking into there's something special about walking into a capital city and seeing everybody just spamming chat, talking to each other, running around, and it feels like a lived-in world, even beyond the art aspect of it. Um, I I definitely play WoW for some of the social aspect, and whether it's getting together with friends for dungeons, or even just like running around doing a quest. I remember there was a giant snake I was after once, and I'd already died to it once, and I realized, oh, I can't fight this thing alone, and I just like called out to the closest person and asked them if they could help me with the snake, and they said, "Yeah, let's do it,"
Oh,
and we just it was a
that
really sweet bonding moment.
I was about to say that is a genuine moment that so many, and I won't be like, oh, so many people say it doesn't happen, but that people are like, oh, that stopped happening in 2007, and it's really nice to see that some 14,
Yeah,
15 years later.
yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like with all of these aesthetics and these questions and something, there's a certain expansion that you feel like that really nailed it?
Mm. Well, I mean, the cop out answer would be this most recent one. I
you said
there,
you said the one that I have
but
stuff in.
yeah, I think
Ah,
that's
I
well,
was I
no,
was looking at a
no,
book the other day in Shadowlands.
no, no, no,
Ah, saw a little
no,
PB at the bottom. That was really cool.
not not anything upcoming, but with the because I can't speak on those. But
Yes.
I'll say I do really like. Oh, okay, Battle for Azeroth, the Kultiras.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're all made of ship parts, I thought was such a cool concept that they executed on really well. Because running around those buildings, and I'm saying this as someone who plays Horde most of the time. uh,
You better not be running
that
around those buildings. I'll report you to the
yeah,
non-existent
that's
Cultiran
me.
guards.
Now I've got another character who's a night elf, and so he's running around, and that place feels super nautical in a way that wasn't just flat out piratey. Like it's not like a traditional like high seas Pirates of the Caribbean type of ship city. This is it felt like a distinctly World of Warcraft thing. It's got those chunky shapes. It's got these cobbled together ship bits, and that was a really fun area.
Nice. Well, I say my final question as a prop artist on the World of Warcraft team. Is there a particular prop that just really tickles your fancy? Just a type of prop that knocks your socks off?
Yeah, I know we've talked about my love for prop making and bookbinding IRL. So I do some cosplay. I do some medieval bookbinding.
Honestly, is there anything you don't do? This is besides the point. I have Peter as a friend on Facebook, and I'm like, dang. Sometimes I show my mom my phone. I was like, I sat in a classroom with him.
Yeah. I just like making stuff, and I think that stuff, the cosplay and the physical prop making is that's something that certainly contributed to becoming a digital prop maker. But that being said, anything that's a book in World of Warcraft, my eyes immediately go to, and I want to check it out. And I really like with this most recent expansion going into it was Ardenweald. There's this Fey wood-looking book that has it looks like the cover is made out of curled wood, and it's got these blue pages and silver lettering in it, and it's also like the size of a person. So I was looking at that like, wow, that's a really nice book. But anytime there's like a library or a little side table with a book on it or something, that's the person who's over there staring at those is probably me.
Or me, because I don't have a lot of renown right now, so I'm spending a lot of time in Heart of the Forest on my shaman. Just be like, hey, anything, please. I'll take anything. I gotta get to 80.
Yeah. But yeah, I like those.
Nice. So that brings us to the end of my formal interview here. Peter, are there any special thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
Sure. So I know a lot of the stuff we've been talking about is geared towards like the internship and student art contests and stuff. So I always highly encourage people in school to participate in those, because I think this would be about the time too. They're oftentimes we work on those through the holidays, and that's this would be a good time to take a look at that and maybe enter if that's something you're interested in.
I have this lovely picture of Malfurion that I made in 15 minutes in Illustrator. So what I'm hearing is we're going to be coworkers soon.
Submit stuff.
No, I'll keep
fan art is great though. Seriously, fan art is awesome. Like that's it's one of the most vibrant parts of the community, and I just love seeing what people do and making stuff myself. That's how a lot of us can express that appreciation and love for these worlds, and always encourage people to be creative with that.
Well, you heard it here, everyone. Be creative. And also vote up my crayon drawing of Malfurion in the art contest. Well, Peter, thank you so very much for coming on tonight. I was about to say today, but it is 8:37 p.m. How can people find you and your work?
Yeah. I don't post often, but usually my work is up on ArtStation, or just Peter Burroughs on ArtStation, or Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Cairo Smith, Kairo Smith.
Very cool. And as I'm sure everyone listening knows, you can find us at Do Not Relent Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Our literary musings at donotrelent.livejournal.com, and Immune and I stream at Immunization DNR and Aaron DNR, respectively. Until next week, remember...
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.